which was I
You
don't care
said
how.
who? Manure Sanders?
Yeah, my thing is it doesn't matter how bad he was. Nobody saw fifth round though. I mean, I think one dude called it on TikTok. I seen a former NFL player. He was like, he literally called it before it happened. He's like fifth round. Everybody thought he was crazy. Now that guy's like, I need to call him for my fucking lottery ticket numbers. So but I
Yeah.
didn't see that coming. I thought third round the latest. But fifth, holy shit. And then just to show you how bad, anytime you think the Bears are bad, like anytime you're just like, oh, the Bears suck, it's like, just look at what the Cleveland Browns did. Like, they got 6 quarterbacks in their fucking draft room. I just, it's like,
Yeah,
man, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing over there.
because they drafted
Yeah.
they drafted 2 QBs, right?
Yeah, they actually drafted a QB before Sanders.
Honestly, I think this was like all the NFL teams getting together. They're like, we need to send a message to like people like this who want to act cocky and shit like that because he
Yeah.
didn't want to like. Actually, I ain't even gonna talk about that. Just forget I said that because
What?
just forget it. What happened? What are we talking about?
What?
Yeah, Manure Sanders,
No,
fifth round, bro.
Look,
no, but I
fuck.
think I'm gonna tell you right now. I think that my fault. I think I think they did it on purpose. Okay,
Yeah.
because who in their right mind ever watched rounds 1 through 7 like fully? But this time you're like, oh, we gotta watch Shedeur Sanders. When is he gonna get picked? They got these people to watch till like the 5th round, and I heard the ratings have never been any better. So you know the fact that they pay these college guys now, he didn't lose any money, man. This guy made fucking $20 million in college. He signed in the 5th round. So be it.
I mean, he's
But I
actually
think,
taking a pay cut now. He's making less than he did in
yeah,
college.
yeah,
So that's a wild take. I haven't heard. I know a lot of people are analyzing like, oh, why did he go? They're thinking like, oh, he's viewed as a backup because he's not as good as the hype, which I agree with. He wasn't, but I still, even considering that, was still surprised he went so far, like you said. But that's a wild take. And honestly, kind of makes sense, as a marketing scheme because he was so hyped because of, Sanders and not going to the pro camp and Dion talking him up and them having a list and all these things that people thought he needed. Maybe they were humbling him. I don't think they were humbling him. Although it did humble him. This NIL money got these athletes acting a fool out here, thinking that their brand and social media brand equates to draft prospect, which it doesn't, and they need to get that out of their head. But maybe it was intentional for that. That makes more sense. I don't, because I don't see a team looking to humble somebody. If you need them, you're taking them. You know what I mean? That's not the issue. We're talking about the big leagues. You can handle a bad personality. I mean, we got bad personalities all over the field. You know what I mean, in professional sports. But if you're throwing 3,000 plus yards a season, if you're smacking over 100 home runs a season, if you're doing the work to get the
if you're good, you're
championship,
good.
yeah, if you're good, you're good. We don't give a fuck. I mean,
Yeah.
Westbrook, James Harden, there's countless bad attitudes, and people will take them because at the end of the day, we're looking for rings, not friends. This is a business. We're out for money, and at the end of the
Yeah,
day, you
yeah.
know,
You got some teams that will do that, and that's only because maybe they got you know, um, a certain brand they got to look up to or something like that. But you're totally right, though. I think majority of the winners of the league don't give a crap about what kind of person you are in terms, as long as you're, if you got talent. In other words, if you got talent. I mean, I go back and I think Randy Moss, he was in a racially, he got, there was a racial thing that went on. A white boy got almost killed, like sodomized by like 20 black dudes in a bowling alley, and he still went to the NFL because he's freaking Randy Moss. I mean, You know,
Well, I mean, also
so
different times. Different times.
different times, yeah.
I don't know. I think a
Well,
lot of people drop because of their attitude. To be honest.
I mean,
Um,
it could have played a little bit of a role, right? But I don't think it was like the sole thing. Honestly, I think he was just viewed as a backup. I never viewed Sanders uh as a starter myself, honestly. And that could be because I am big on that whole scrutiny of like I look at people past their hype, their NIL and their social media. And honestly, he didn't really show me any he didn't have any big playoff wins. You know, he did well in his conference, but his conference was mostly ass. And they didn't even
Yeah.
win their bowl games or none of that stuff. And most most like almost all of his receiving yards, or I mean his throwing yards, were in line with Travis's receiving yards. So was it him or was it Travis?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
And
he's
Travis.
a solid
Yeah.
and
QB. I
and
mean, we'll
and
see
and
what he
and,
turns out to
and
be.
you obviously you're not going to. I mean, it's like we had this debate with Lamar and for the MVP. It's like, yeah, it's not just one or the other, but it's like, well, it does. It's enough to bring into question, like, well, what do they equate to? How many are his and how many are Travis's? But and then you start looking at his play closer and scrutinizing it more because that is something that's in the air. And then you start seeing, well, he does hold on to the ball way too long. And we
Yeah.
just scrutinized all of the quarterbacks from last year's draft for the same thing, Caleb Williams, right? And again,
Yeah.
Caleb had his reasons, but it's still lingering this season. Is it that reason, or is he going to do it again? Justin Fields, same issue, and even though things changed, it stayed the same. So it's like when you're looking at him holding the ball too long, or you're looking at him not receiving, he's not receiving the information as fast. So now they're looking at IQ. So if he doesn't have enough field IQ and he can't receive it as fast and audible as fast, is he going to be the big star? And hey, maybe he will be. I mean, look at Tom Brady, bro. Look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, last man in the draft. Tom Brady, what, sixth round?
Yeah.
Like Brock Purdy just went to an NFC Championship and a Super Bowl. Tom Brady, GOAT, greatest of all time, right?
Brock Purdy ain't that good.
He's a
No,
starting
he's not.
quarterback with a Super Bowl ring. That's enough. I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
with
you think
fucking
Sanders?
with
You think
some of the
Sanders
greatest
wouldn't call that
offensive
a win?
weapons in the league around him.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The point is, if he could do it, Sanders could do it.
Yeah.
Just because he got drafted there, and like I said, Tom Brady,
But not the
greatest of all
Browns.
time. I
No,
agree.
I
That's
will
more.
say I think
I
if
agree.
Sanders
That's
turns
another.
out
That's
to
another
be
point.
I think if Sanders turns out to be a good QB, I think they kind of killed the draft because if he is a good QB, they got their franchise QB and what's supposed to be a really good defensive lineman all in the same draft. Similar
they'll
draft
trade. They'll
to
trade one of those
fucking the
quarterbacks.
Texans a couple years ago. I mean, they
Yeah,
got
but the
them both in the
fucking
first
Bears,
round,
fuck the
but
Browns. You know what? Fuck the Browns. Fuck Shedeur Sanders. Okay, I'm everybody else killer, bro.
Wait,
I'm
wait, wait, wait,
Bears
wait.
all the
Before we
way.
go back to the Bears, I gotta ask. Place your wagers now. Is Sanders gonna be a Johnny Manziel part two, or is he gonna be a Purdy Brady part two?
I think he's gonna be an average QB.
If I had to, I mean, those are two extremes right there. If I had to go like closer to one than the other, I would say more Johnny Manziel. I don't think he'll ever be, or maybe a Purdy. I wouldn't put Purdy in. You're putting Purdy and fucking Brady like if they're the
All right,
same thing.
all right. Look,
They're
I'm
not.
just saying, is he gonna be a quarterback that shocks the world and silences all the haters and actually gets a chip? Because let's be real. Even though Purdy isn't close to Tom Brady, you also have. I mean, you have to take into account like that's a win. 32 teams, one chance every year. You get maybe 6 years of peak play if you're lucky.
3 years. Yeah, is the
Yeah,
average.
yeah. So if you're getting one chip, you're a winner. You won. Your career was a success. So that's my point. Is he going to get a chip?
Purdy, yeah, but Purdy, okay, but Purdy never won a bowl. He never won a Super Bowl ring or nothing.
but he made
He
it to a
should've.
Super Bowl.
He should've.
He
I
should
know,
have.
to a
right?
He
Super
should
Bowl.
have. He made it to an NFC Championship and a Super Bowl, and he should have won the Super Bowl. So I'm
He
giving him
could
that
have.
credit.
He could have won the
I mean,
Super Bowl. Yeah. My thing is like,
because nobody's gonna say he's gonna be a GOAT. Nobody, like, I just feel like nobody's gonna say Sanders is gonna be Tom Brady,
Shedeur.
right?
No, he's not. No.
So that's why I'm putting Purdy up there. Is he gonna be closer to a Purdy situation where he can turn his career into some sort of a success and silence some haters, or is he gonna be the joke that everybody wants him to be?
No, I think that Shedeur, if he has, like Purdy, a great coach and team around him, he could be great. You got the tools around him. He could be serviceable. He could be an average. He could get the job done. To play NFL quarterback, yeah, don't get me wrong. It's great to be Patrick Mahomes and make all the plays, or a Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. But you could be a Purdy where you could just like, hey, dump it off to the running back. Here's my tight end. Here's my star receiver. Just facilitate the offense and, do whatever, you got to do, and
Kirk
but
Cousins.
yeah, if he stays with the Browns, though, he's going to be trash.
Yeah, the Browns are trash.
Yeah.
But think about Kirk Cousins. This man has made a wealthy career off of being a standard to subpar quarterback. He makes more than the people or most of the people who have actually had more accolade success than him.
Yeah. He made more money than Brady.
Yeah.
Like football contract wise. He made more money.
So he didn't have the chips, but he got the money, and he's got like 9 kids or something like that, right? He's got a Brady bunch.
I'll take
Does
that. I'll take
So.
everyone hating me and fucking have a bag.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's a win, bro. Because the realistic
don't
outlook is
don't hate on Big Kirko, bro.
But the realistic outlook is there's so many greats that are not going to win chips just because of how rare of a feat it is. I mean, there's so many circumstances, so you got to look at other, exactly. You got to look at other accolades. What are you trying to achieve here? And a good payout is one of them, Hall of Fame is another one. Single season record, these are all different things that he can target.
Yeah, the thing is with Shedeur, he's not a speedster, and then he doesn't have a cannon. And then he doesn't read defenses that well. So all of those are, he doesn't know. I'm gonna tell you, out of all of that, if he doesn't know how to read a defense, he'll never make it. Look at Justin Fields. What year are we on with Justin Fields? 5 years.
He only has 2 kids, by the way, Cousins. Who is it? Is it Matthew Stafford? One of these quarterbacks in the league has like 8 kids, bro.
Oh, that's Phillip Rivers. I know Phillip Rivers has like 9 kids or 10 kids.
Oh, hell no. I know you ain't fucking thinking about Phillip Rivers from fucking 28 years ago, bro.
Yeah, from like 5 years ago, he retired. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 10 children. 10 children. No, I think there's a modern quarterback like in the last.
But he's got 10 kids though, right, Phillip?
Yeah, he does. He does have 10 kids.
Yeah.
I think there's in the last couple of years there's a starting quarterback that has like 6 or 7 kids. I think I read that like last year.
Yeah.
Right. But
all right.